for joining us today for Citrin Cooperman's COVID-19 Transition Playbook Series. In this series, our clients have been sharing their stories with us of how they've been operating during this pandemic. I'm Alex Regan, a partner in our nonprofit practice. I'm here with Marie Reger, CEO of Girl Scouts Heart of the Hudson out of Pleasantville, New York. And today, Marie's going to share her story of the recalibration that Girl Scouts has done during the pandemic. Marie, welcome, and thanks for being with us here today. Would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about the organization?
Great. Thank you, Alex. Thank you for having me today. I'm Marie Reger. I'm the CEO of Girl Scouts Heart of the Hudson, and we are responsible for the Girl Scouts within the 7 counties north of New York City. So we cover Girl Scouts in Westchester, Putnam, Dutchess, Rockland, Orange, Ulster, and Sullivan counties. Every year, we take care of about 21,000 Girl Scouts and about 10,000 adult volunteers. So we're responsible for working with Girl Scouts in their troops. We run camps. We do all sorts of day programs. So the Girl Scouts keep us pretty busy most of the year.
It's an awesome program. I think all of us think about cookies when we think of Girl Scouts, but obviously it's much more than cookies. It's cookies is just one of your programs. It's about building courageous, confident girls, and there's a lot of other programs that do that. And I was a Girl Scout once too, so it means it's near and dear to my heart. But can you tell us how the pandemic has, impacted the organization and the communities that you serve and the communities that the girls are from?
Yeah, our girls are much more than cookies, camping, and crafting, which is what a lot of times people think about Girl Scouts. We are about STEM and leadership and having girls be able to be girls in all girl-led space. So when the pandemic hit, it affected our communities drastically. Our headquarters, one of our headquarters offices are in Westchester, which was the epicenter of the East Coast outbreak for a while. So we actually shut down our offices and shut down Girl Scout activities before the state went into their shelter in place, because our number one goal is always the health and safety of both our girls, our volunteers, and our staff. So our girls were not able to meet from the March on, and that affected their troop meetings, that affected their activities, that affected the Cookie program, which is the largest girl-led entrepreneurial program in the world. The girls were not able to participate in the Cookie program the same way this year. They have booth sales where they're able to go out and practice their entrepreneurial sales skills in malls and outside the stores. They weren't able to do any of that. They also weren't even able to pick up their cookies when the cookies came in. So we had to change up how we did everything with cookies. We went to much more of the girl delivery much later, and to have cookies shipped to people instead of being able to have the girls out there working with the program. So it taught them more skills on how to sell on the internet in reality. So we did a lot. We had our camps during the year. We had to cancel our summer camp due to COVID. We have hundreds of girls participate in both residential camp and day camp in a couple of our different counties. We had to close that down. All of our programs that were set up for the spring have all been shut down, and we actually haven't even been able to restart them yet. We're going to be restarting some things within the next couple of weeks. So it affected everything that we do, all of our big major programs, which are also large fundraisers for our organization.
So in light of the recalibrations that you've had to do, how about some of the programming being offered virtually? Like how have you done some of that? I mean, a lot of some of the leadership, the other programs that was done in person. Some of those how have you offered some of those, or how have those programs changed?
So what we did was we shifted to virtual. I admit it did take us a couple of weeks to kind of figure out where our footing was, because when everything changed, it all changed so fast. It took us a little bit to catch up, but we did. And what we did was we started having where we worked with troop leaders to be able to do meetings with girls via Zoom or Teams or Google Hangout or any of those things. So that way they would still get the troop experience, but they would just be doing it on the computer. That way it was safe. For the summertime, what we did was we converted since we did have to cancel summer camp, like I said, we did virtual summer programming where we basically did program in a box. So what we did was if you signed up for a particular theme, age group and theme. During that week, we would send you a box of all the goodies that you needed to participate in the program for that week. So you had your t-shirt to tie-dye, you had your fun activities, you had everything that you needed. And then you would meet with camp counselors basically a couple of times during the week and work on those projects. So it was really kind of fun because the girls had something to look forward to because they got this box. And who didn't, think about when you were a girl. Didn't you love when you got mail? I mean, it's so much different from when you're an adult and you get bills. When you're a kid and you get mail, it's exciting. So this was an exciting box that they didn't know what was going to be in it for the week. And we're going to actually be doing programs like that throughout the fall. That way, girls are still able to participate in badge earning activities and so on in this type of program in a box type concept. We also shifted some of the rest of our programs into the virtual land so that way they could earn fun patches. Our program team worked with our retail stores to figure out different fun patches where you do different activities like indoor house scavenger hunts or doing different research type fun things on the web. And then you could earn a fun patch, which was pretty cool because it was a lot of things to keep girls busy because there's only so much stuff they can do on the computer. And with everyone being stuck at home for so many months, this gave them something fun to do and something to look forward to because we were releasing new ones every week.
That's awesome. So have you gotten feedback on just about have you got more participation, I guess, given that the virtual nature, the fact that, these things are mailed to people's houses, do you think it actually increased participation perhaps? Given, I didn't know if there's a trade-off there.
I think in some ways it increased participation over what we thought we were going to have when we first started it for the summer. To be honest, when we first did it, we said, well, you know what, if we get 40 girls to sign up, we'll be happy. And some people say they're tired of the web. They're tired of learning on Zoom and all of those things. I mean, who doesn't have Zoom fatigue to a certain extent at this point, especially our girls. But we actually sold out of our programs at 120 people, which is much smaller than what we would have had for summer camp. But summer camp is a very different type of experience. So having 120 girls participate in it, and it really kind of set the stage for what we're able to do moving forward. So it's increased the girls' ability to participate. It also opened it to not all girls participate in Girl Scouts via a troop. Many of them do it as an individual. They're called Juliets. So they're able to participate in all these types of programs without having a troop because right now, depending on what people's own personal guidelines are and how they feel about being out in a group or even going to school. This way, if they continue on as individuals, as Juliets, they can still have the Girl Scout experience and do the leadership activity, but just do it as an individual.
Very cool. Very cool. So I know, you and I have been talking since the very beginning because we were actually completing our audit. I guess when they actually declared this, pandemic in March. So I know you and I have discussed that one of the dynamics about this whole thing that we never really, again, I think a lot of this was, first time going through, never having history to gauge it against, was the workforce, right? The impact on the workforce and the work at home aspect of all this. Can you just tell us a little bit about how that went, how that was with your staff who were probably never really equipped or used to working from home? How that dynamic, how you dealt with that and implemented the work at home, and how it's going now, I guess, too.
Yeah, because we're still working at home. It was interesting. We decided, I think it was on the Wednesday of the week. On Wednesday, we decided that we were going to send everyone to start working from home. And at the time, we figured, this will be like 2 or 3 weeks tops, never thinking that we'd be sitting here. That was March, sitting here. It's almost September. And we still have everyone working from home. If you had told me that my entire workforce of right now, I have 47 staff, that they would all be working from home all this time, I would have said, you're crazy. But this is what it is. We, in a span of about 2 days, we got everyone laptops and sent everyone home and said, all right, we'll figure this out as we go. And that's what we did. The biggest concern that I had was that some of our staff they don't necessarily have large families. They don't have a lot of families living with them. And this whole pandemic has been very isolating to people. And having that lack of talking to people the same way, I knew was going to affect some of them. So what we did do right away was we instituted a coffee break, which was where everyone could get together on a Zoom call. And the rule was no talking about work. That was the initial rule. No talking about work. This was just to be able to replace that time that people spent, in the lunchroom normally. And that way they could get together and chat and talk about different things and show off. We did like, pet day or crazy mug day or whatever, just to try to have people have fun, because everyone was so unnerved. And, to be honest, everyone was so scared about what was going on, and no one knew what the next thing that was going to be coming down the pike of them. So that was a big thing. Trying to just keep the staff feeling together over this, where they're so far apart, because our staff is also spread out across all 7 counties. So different people are living in much different areas. Some people in Westchester had a very different experience than people who lived in Ulster or Sullivan County with this whole pandemic. So we did that. Having the staff, they're still working remotely. We've had many all staff meetings. We've had management team meetings and different things to try to make sure people are still together. I've found that in some ways we've discovered that a lot of people can really work from home and probably do a lot, can have just as good of an experience working from home, because they're able to get as much done, and maybe even more because it's quieter. There's not the constant interruptions. Your phone's not ringing all the time. So that's been good. We have been able to maintain a lot of our contact with our volunteers too, because that is really important for us. So we've been doing, we had cafes, service unit cafes, where you would have the membership managers talking to multiple volunteers at the same time, trying just to stay connected. Because one of the things that Girl Scouts really is it's a relationship organization. And if we don't have the relationships with our volunteers, we're not going to be able to exist. So we have to make sure that we keep that line of communication open. So that's been a different experience, because many of our volunteers were not ready for doing all this. And I sent out an email to people in the very beginning saying, I know that right now you have new coworkers, your cat, your dog, your 6-year-old, you're now a teacher, you're homeschooling, and you're a Girl Scout volunteer. I know that I've been doing all those things because my daughter is at home as well. And my husband was home. So I've never had so much family time in my life. And a lot of people are having the same type of thing. So we've managed to make it work. The staff, I think some of them really want to come back, and we're looking to ways that we're going to be able to bring people back in as they feel comfortable, because that's the other important piece, is that people have to feel comfortable where they work. And, you want to be respectful of how everyone's feeling about that. So it's been interesting.
Well, I think I told you early on that I adopted your Zoom coffee, program. That was awesome, because that was the first time I had heard of that, with the caveat that no work talk. And that was really helpful and healthy, I think. And then we turned it to Zoom wine on Friday nights. So my staff and I had done that in the beginning, and that was really fun.
That's really cool. I like that.
Yeah. So, no, it was really, like you said, the no work talk was really helpful, because, you're at the Zoom all day, and you have to break it up somehow,
And especially when I would be on a call, because people would think, oh, well, we have to talk about work because the CEO's on the call. I was like, no, let's talk about, your cat, let's talk about whatever's going on. Don't talk about work. Let's keep it light, because people need a way to connect, and you spend more time at work than you do with your family normally. And this was a big turn on that. So
that's awesome. So I think during this whole thing, if anything, I've seen there's a couple themes I've seen in the nonprofit arena. I've seen a lot of strategic work and recalibration. I've seen people be nimble and get creative. Okay, so nonprofit is a lot of different programs, a lot of different service delivery, in some instances, I think there's been a lot of things where people got efficient in offering some of the programming. And sometimes people have said, gee, I don't know why we never did this before. I don't know if you have any lessons you learned during the crisis. I mean, not that the crisis is a good thing, but are there any bright sides out of this, or anything through your recalibration that you want to carry forward to the future?
We learned a lot of things, and I feel like every single day we keep learning something new because something we didn't think of comes up. Looking at the way that we deliver program been a big change. Now, like I talked about with doing the boxes of programs, and we think that that'll work, like I said, for girls who are individual Girl Scouts, because that way they feel like they're a part of something.
Mhm.
Shifting a lot of our for the outdoor program, having it in big, wide open spaces, because we do have a lot of outdoor programs, and luckily we do have a lot of open camps. So we're able to work with doing more trail hikes and stuff like that than maybe we did before. So that's been pretty cool. I would say the other areas, I mean, I hate to use the word pivot because it's the word, I think it's between that and the word social distance. Those are like the words that have been used more times in the past few months than ever before. But we really did pivot and switch all of our programming um, and our volunteer engagement, our volunteer training has all been large scale volunteer. We're doing a large scale membership welcome to our girls in a couple of weeks, and that's all going to be on Zoom or GoToWebinar to be able to have them go into breakout rooms and work on badges so they can still do things just in a different way. I think that we learned that not necessarily working different hours for not on the program side, but looking at it in terms of staffing, that we can kind of shift things around to meet the needs of our volunteers and meet the needs of our customers in a better way. And I think that we're going to have where we keep some positions that are maybe more outside of the office, just because they're able to do those positions that way, and they can work better needs with the volunteers and the consumers. So I think that's some of the other areas that we've shifted to kind of get some different ideas and things that we never would have thought of before. What is it? The invention, or was it the crisis is almost the motherhood of invention, or whatever that saying is. That's been really kind of every single day we find something new and we're like, all right, let's try that. I think the other thing was learning how to, if whatever we were trying to do, the idea of failing fast, this was fail fast on things because you had to keep moving. So if it didn't work, let's shift it now. And anything's on the table. I mean, I think that's one of the, not that, like you said, the crisis is a good thing. It's not in any way, shape, or form, but it's enabled us to look at things differently. And, nothing's off the table. Instead of being just out of the box, it's nothing's off the table because you know what? Let's try it, see what happens. So I think that's been one of the things been one of the benefits that's come out of it, is just a different way of looking at things.
Definitely. Well, looking forward to seeing some of the new creative programming that comes out of this, and just what how we do in the future. Once we're over the pandemic, coming out of it.
It'll be interesting to see. I mean, we're shifting all of our fall programs to being able to do more virtual. We're changing our fall. We have a fall product sale, fall product activities. We're looking at cookies. How are we going to be doing cookies next year? So cookies are going to be different. We've always had shipped. So we're looking at being able to try to do more with shipped cookies or drive-through cookie booths or anything like that, because we want to be, we don't know what is going to be coming at us in 6 months. We don't know how things are going to change. So we're looking at all those things. And once again, everything's on the table. So we'll see what happens, but it'll be fun it'll be good to see how it all flows out.
And we definitely need cookies.
Yes. And you will have cookies, because I need cookies. We need to have cookies. What's springtime without Girl Scout cookies?
Yeah, exactly.
Love a good Girl Scout cookie. Yeah. And you can only eat them by the box. That's the only way it goes. If I open that box, I'm eating the whole box. So I got to be careful how many I have. So
that's awesome. Well, thank you for sharing with us today. Again, it's nice to hear just some of the bright sides, I guess, to the whole pandemic. And I want to thank you for being here with us again, and wish you luck and as you continue on with your journey.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate getting to talk to you today. Thank you so much.
Because of Girl Scouts, I've been able to see my daughter just boost in confidence. Her self-esteem has improved. She's just a totally different kid from when she first started.
Young girls looking to be a Girl Scout, you should definitely go for it because you get lifelong lessons, friendships, and you get amazing opportunities.
It's available to you. Like you can do it. You can make a difference. All you have to do is be a Girl Scout.